Watch up, welcome back. Now this is going to be something a little bit different. Return to Bonneville Farkles. Now we did lots of videos on this Bonneville, doing lots of stuff to it for Penny Pit Stop, and it's about time we got back to it with Project Bandit now finished and with a new buyer, and the Q&A's all finished, season finale done. Hope you enjoyed that. This is going to be back to business. Now obviously the last thing we did on this, we moved these indicators down underneath the headlight. Obviously these aren't the indicators we're going to roll with in the future. We're going to get some really cool funky little small ones, but just for now that's where they are. Leaves the headlight is the only thing now being held by these big ugly metal pressed out ears, and there are some much sleeker, much neater looking options available, so let's see if we can make them look a bit better. Welcome back. Okay, now you've all heard of Motone Customs. I've said it loads of times because we've got loads of little Farkles from Motone, motone.co.uk. We use them because I think they're a great alternative. There are some cheap bits and pieces on the net, lots of Chinese stuff available and it's rubbish, and there are also some really cool stuff, things like Joker Machine, and it's very, very expensive. Can't afford that, little poor bus driver. So this is the option. This is what we've got today. These are, in my opinion, by far and away the nicest thing I've seen that we're going to put on this bike. They're chopped out of a lump of billet, so they're machined from a lump of billet aluminium, and with a little Motone logo. These are black anodized, not powder coated, and they also come in silver. These are, how much are they paying?
£89.99 I think.
Yeah, just under £90. If you go on the net and you look at the Joker Machine ones, they're identical except there are 3 holes in here, and they're £160. Half the price, these. Absolutely brilliant, I love it. So first thing we've got to do before we can get to putting those on the bike is we've got to dismantle all this. The clocks off, bars off, top yoke off, headlight out, and these ears then slide off upwards. So let's get some dismantling done and see how we go on. Okay, bit of protection, insurance against damaging your paintwork, and obviously denting your tank because you're going to be swinging tools and spanners. And the nastiest thing I've ever seen someone do was in these Allen keys here, turn an Allen key to undo one of those, slip with it and take a gouge out of the tank. It's really, really nasty because it rips a lump out of metal. Ain't nice. So just protect your tank, a couple of thick layers, got a towel, there we are, and a big old sheet, curtain over that, tough as old boots. Right, first thing, let's get these little caps out. Okay, bars off first. Okay, they're captive nuts, so that's just 12 mil. So easy to just roll that out. Now there's a little block spacer lives inside there. This bars out in the way a minute. There's a little billet spacer in there, you can just about see it. There it is, that one. Just make sure that doesn't fall off on the floor, disappear, roll under the bench. There it is. Take that out of the way. That's it. Same goes to the other side. And the light will sit, or the light shell, because all that wiring in there, it will sit quite comfortably in its little position there. So I've got that space around. And it shouldn't go anywhere. There it is. That just sit there okay. Don't do anything with that. And because these are on just a rubber slip, they'll just sit there. That's what we need to remove, is those 2 bits there. Then knock the pinch bolts loosened off on the yokes. Just undo the top ones. Obviously you're not undoing the bottom ones, so the alignment should not be thrown out. We will check it at the end. You just undo your top yoke pinch bolts, take them out till they're completely loosened off. Don't have to remove them, just back them out. And then that just leaves the big 30mm bolts. right in the middle of the centre of your top yoke. What I've done with these, incidentally, look at that. I've just used a sky hook up above. I'm just literally hook these bars up to hold them out of the way so that I've got access to everything. And in the centre here, you've got a 30mm nut, which is going to be effing tight. So just get a bar on it and just get them undone. Straightforward. I'll give you torque settings at the end so you can do them up yourself in the proper way. It's just a little cap nut, simple as that. Right, now with the washer out of the way as well, that is now ready for the top yoke to come off. Right, fingers underneath the yoke. Once everything's done off, don't go forcing anything, don't lever against anything, just 2 thumbs on top, 2 fingers underneath, and you'll get a little each side and it'll come up like that. There you go. Obviously, people like Johnny Cactus, who takes his top yoke off every Tuesday, his one probably falls off, but yours will probably be stuck. You get little bits of it get jammed on. It's coming. There we go. Right. Now everything, as you can see, we just hooked it all up, and this just makes the job as easy as possible, because these ears, these are what we need out of the way. They just slide off. Simple as that. There you go. Now obviously, if on your bike you've still got the ignition lock in there and the indicators in there and so on, you have to take all that off. We're only changing these because we've got all that off and they don't need to be there. So that big girt clumpy thing is gone. I'll just show you the difference. There's the new part, and that's what it replaces. Big piece of clag iron. And actually, that is infinitely lighter. It's billet alloy, that's all steel, it's all double layered and da-di-da. And also, I think, if you look, just come down it, look at the scrambler. On a scrambler you have the shroud along with the gaiter, and it kind of makes all in one a nice big beefy looking fork. But on the Bonneville, this bottom section is naked. So when you have this big thing on there, you've got this big beefy top, then a naked part is out of context, whereas putting that on is going to look a bit neater. So let's get it fitted, see what it looks like. Now obviously, as these have never, since the day it left the factory, been cleaned, I'm just going to do the old method we did with the pipes the other day. Just going to give them a good clean all the way around in the best way that I can without losing or missing any of it. Now, a good clean all the way down. Rag's a bit dusty and all. There you go. That's it. Okay, and before you put them in, it's on the inside, just pre-install the little bolts there. Now I would not put any Loctite on them. I don't think you need to. If your bike is going to get wet and dirty and filthy and you're going to use it in all the weather, I'd possibly put, at the very best, a little bit of copper slip on there, just to stop that steel to alloy corrosion that occurs. But to be honest, they're absolutely fine to go in just like that. Just pre-install them so you haven't got to reach around the inside when you're fitting them. Okay, now with them pre-installed, it just slips on over the top neatly. So I'm just going to let that sit down there for a sec. Get the other one. Nice tight fit. Let's pop that down out of the way. Now just pop the yoke back on before we set the light up. So again, same as before. I come on this way. Let's pop the yoke back in its place. You should always have, when you set these back up, make sure that the cap is free. So the cap comes out the top. I'll just get that little, there it is. So the cap is completely free and out the top. So when you clamp it in, you're not clamping the cap, you're clamping the fork leg only. Okay, before you do up pinch bolts, obviously do the centre nut up. The centre nut holds the yoke on. And make sure there's no interference and it goes on by hand. There's no need to put any compounds on there, doesn't need any copper slip or anything. Nice and dry, as long as it's clean, it's fine. Torque setting on that centre nut, quite important really, is 48 foot-pounds. Quite important to get it right. Don't take that same for all bikes though, because the Thruxton's 66 foot-pound for some reason. The Bonneville, T100, Speedmaster, America, they're all 48 foot-pound. It's 45, 48. That's it, there we go. Now the pinch bolts can then be done up. Obviously the fact that you do them up to, you do the yoke up first, which pulls it down as far as it needs to go and no further. You can then do the pinch bolts up. Now if you've left the bottom pinch bolts done up and you haven't loosened those off, then you don't need to worry too much about alignment. And the torque setting on these is 20. Again, it seemed to be different on the Thruxton for some reason. Ours is not to reason why, just to do them up the right way. There we are, 20 foot-pound on that. There you go. Don't over tighten these because the cost of doing it is quite a lot. You have to helicoil them or buy a new top yoke because it threads straight into a casting, an aluminium casting, and that can be quite a delicate thread. Normally a 6mm thread, 6mm metric thread would go up, I'm just going to check that again. A 6mm metric thread would go up about 25, 28 at the most, but obviously it's going into aluminium, so they recommend 20, and that's it, it's cool. Click, there we are, one click, that's it. So the top yoke's done back up now. Undo this. Every time I do this I get criticised for not undoing it properly. And don't undo them completely, put them down to about 1 foot-pound, and that just keeps the spring set correct. That's me told off. Right, okay, so now the brackets on the side. Come around the front, Pam. We've got them fitted. We've got the Allen bolts pre-installed inside there. If you want to put a little bit of Loctite in there, you can. I personally don't see the reason to do it whatsoever. They're not going to rattle loose, and even if they did, what's the worst that can happen? Your headlight moves a bit. It's not the end of the world. It's not like they're strong. It's not like they hold the bike together. So the bolts, if we come over here, when you had this fitted, if you're going to fit this kit on your Bonneville, you've got that on the outside of the headlight showing, and then that spacer inside. You don't need these spacers now because their purpose in life was to simply make a flat surface there to bolt against, and you aren't fitting that anymore, so you don't need those. You don't need the washers either, because the way that Sam at Motone has made these, very cleverly I think, they put a recess in there that these factory stainless steel bolts fit through and sit beautifully in there. I think that's lovely. You could put an Allen bolt in that if you wanted to. Personally, I like the bolt. It's much nicer. It's got the washer. This is a pre-machined washer into it, and that just sits neatly in there beautifully, so that's all it needs. And they're just going to go straight on. Direct mount to the light. If you wanted to put a washer there to cover up this little bit, you can. It's entirely up to you. It doesn't make any difference. It's purely aesthetic. Right, everything done up nice and loosely to start with. Just install everything. Just install it first. Just get them done up, finger tight like that. Everything still moves around. Now that can slide up and down to the right setting that it needs to be. And I'm going to set the light roughly where it was. Just use the old ear. Set that roughly where it used to be. And then come reach to that side. You don't want to clank it against it. And then you set the light where it was. There it is. That's it. A little bit awkward to get on the inside, but they are, it's just use your good old-fashioned straightforward 4-inch Allen key. That'll do the job. And they're a 6mm Allen bolt. And you really don't need to nip them up tight because there's 100% contact of that billet all the way around, so they literally just need nipping and they're fine. You don't need to lean on them because there is an enormous amount of strength there. They're not going anywhere, very much like the way these work to hold the entire front of the bike straight. They're only holding a very lightweight headlight. So let's just get a little check, put the light back in. Alright, just bringing the bars back in. Let's do that. So this way we've managed to do the job without taking anything off, undoing any wiring, unsettling the bars, switch gear or anything. When you do these up, just a little wide to the wise, obviously this cap sits neatly over the other cap and the two halves butt up together, so make sure that when you put them on, one half isn't butted up tight and the other one's too wide. So make sure they're, I've said this a million times, equidistant front and back, otherwise you can crack this in half completely and your bars won't be gripped either, they don't grip properly. So it's important to do them up so they stay the same. And again, I do them up 20 foot-pounds because they're going into a soft alloy thread. There is grip knurling on the inside of the bar that grips it. You don't need any more. If you're running perhaps ape hangers or something, there's a lot of twist on that, then you might do it 20. That's it, done. Bar's nice and tight. Obviously, if you've not unsettled all the wiring and switch gear and everything, it's quite easy. They just go straight back in. You put them in and they kind of sit in their normal, natural position. You haven't got to reset everything, which makes the job a little bit quicker for you. It's the sort of thing you might find a workshop technician doing just to make their life a little bit easier and to cut down on time, because when customers are paying by the hour, they are expected to do a job in a timely fashion. All right, Pen?
Yeah, they are.
Not, of course, that they always do. I hush my bad mouth. Right, again, when you're repacking your light, just take a little bit of care. Make sure that your light, nothing in there is pinched. And when you put your light back together, when it all goes in, there's no, that's it, it all fits neatly.
Pinchage.
Without pinchage, squeezage. There we go. Right, screw that in nice and neatly. And finally, you've still got a bit of that from the movement. Obviously the wiring kind of dictates where it should be. We can set the beam just by nipping them up gently with a little quarter drive. With all these anodised parts, just be careful. Obviously it's quite easy to chip them. They're not often, they're quite robust. Anodising's brilliant. It won't move it, but there we are. And the little teeth, there's little kind of what would you call them, like little serrations on there, which will just hold on the inside of the bracket so it doesn't move. And there we are. Right, let's get it all unwrapped, see what it looks like. Right, there we are, all finished, job done. Now that took literally all of half an hour to fit them on. Just remember to do up your torque settings, it is part of your steering. If you want to check your alignment, there's a video on that. If your alignment's not correct or if you're a bit concerned about it, then just don't undo the bottom ones. As long as you don't undo these bottom ones, then you can remove that, put it back on, won't hurt at all. Remember your torque settings correct. The other side of it with these, I do believe they are a vast improvement. Check that out. Look at that, it's a no-brainer, isn't it? Look at that piece of hateful clag iron. It really is awful. Now, and half heavy, they are way heavier, even though they're made out of pressed curry tins by the look of it, than that, which is gorgeous. These are billet alloy, so they chopped out of one big chunk of billet, and probably a bin bag full of swarf for each one. And they're amazing. Black anodised, tough, smooth, resilient, they're going to last forever. And I think if you go on the net and you try and find this kind of thing, there are a few options of this. We found some cheap ones, they were cast, and that's rubbish because it's going to crack. Cast aluminium stuff like this doesn't last forever, and they are 50, 60 pounds still, and these are only 90. The next ones we found of this quality were the Joker machine ones at 160, 159 pound, and that's just loads of money. But also a little bit beyond reach, doesn't it, Pen?
Yeah, a bit ouch.
It's just too much money, a bit ouch, can't really afford it. And I think for those you get a great value piece of kit, and they are the best quality.
For the money.
For the money. And anyway,
made in Wales.
Made in Wales, so they're a UK company, and I think we should all be supporting that. Wherever you are in the world, you support your local business, that's what it's all about. If you want to check them out, it's on their website. If you go on motone.co.uk, they've got two options. You can get their Facebook page or their eBay shop, and you can check them out. And do have a look, because they've got shrouds of stuff, they really have. Badges, they do all kinds of reproduction stuff, which is really cool. This whole kind of bobber, brat, hipster thing that's going on right now, which is raging, and I absolutely love it. It's it's this kind of company that are catering for it. They're giving you the option to buy these parts, and they are parts of a quality that enhances the value of your bike. And if you don't believe that, look at the Triumph dealers who are buying into this kind of thing, bolting them on bikes and charging like 12 grand for them just because they've been painted as well. And it's because of that quality. You just couldn't do that by bolting cheap Chinese crap on. You just couldn't. Could you, man? What do you think?
No,
Quality
really
Would you like
happy
this?
with
Your
those.
bike? Do you like them?
Beautiful, beautiful.
Lovely.
Really happy.
It's only a headlight bracket, but it is just the small things. When you look at a custom bike or any bike that's nice, that's somewhere that you're proud of, it's that sort of thing that makes all the difference. Okay? Anything else, man?
That's it, thank you.
Okay, folks, thanks for watching. Take your ride safe. See you next time.